kettle's boiled.
Mr. Brown went to town with his knickers hanging down. All right, boys.
Way.
Hello.
He's always very understated. Is Megan? Hello.
Oh. So it's 11 o'clock, and I should be in bed.
We all should be in bed, my friend. Obviously, apart from Cockney Spock, because he's middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice bright sunny day here.
Gentle folk, are we okay?
Well, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm much better. Much better today.
What's this? Okay, is it?
Yeah, it's much better. What's with a lot of deep heat on it, so it got better.
Do you smell like a locker room?
I do indeed. But it's a pleasant smell. Deep heat. It's not bad. It's not a bad smell. It smells nice.
It's the genuine smell of the locker room. Cannot beat it.
Yeah, I guess.
Cockney, you all right?
I'm fantastic. I had a fairly uninterrupted night's sleep.
Can't hear you.
How about now?
Much
How
better.
about now? Yes, I have slept, so I'm feeling awake.
That's great.
We had to cancel the nooner today because Cockney can't take the pace.
Couldn't take the pace of going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning every night and still waking up farmers' hours. Couldn't do it.
Never mind.
2 hours sleep over 5 nights was not doing a lot for my wit, charming personality.
As your ex-wife made you a cup of coffee today, then?
No, I'm back at home at the Fortress of Solitude. I've got to make my own bleeding beverages. I don't know what I'm going to do for lunch.
Oh dear!
I'll tell you, I'm starting to regret this divorce.
She seems like a nice person if she made you coffee.
She is. I mean, the fact that she hasn't actually murdered me in my sleep just goes to show what a patient lady she is. Yep, shout out to the ex-wife if she's listening.
You got a good one there, mate.
She's a good woman. A hard woman.
Shall we just do a quick tribute to Justin Diamond?
Okay. Then.
Saved by the Bell. Anybody remember this from the?
No, I don't. I never watched it. I don't even know who he is. Who is he?
Was it Squeak or Screech?
Oh, him.
Yes,
the skinny guy.
He died of I think it was lung cancer. Died horrible. Today. 44. Can you believe it?
Wow, that's crazy.
Was it lung cancer? I'll have a cigarette in his honor.
Oh. 44 is no. Yeah, he recently had a first round of chemotherapy after being diagnosed with lung cancer last month. Wow, that must have been. He must have caught that very, very late in the day then.
Yeah, it's not good at all. My dad died of cancer, so I know how it goes. Yeah, I know how it goes.
My brother's got it at the moment, but. He keeps plugging away. He had COVID the other week as well.
No, he's not doing very well then.
Well, the doctor said, how the hell you're alive, I do not know. So he must have a strong will to live.
Yeah.
Notice that doctor's always confused by the fact of whatever your condition. I don't understand why you got this condition, Mr. Cockney. Well, you're the bloody doctor. You tell me.
Well, we all have to accept that doctors, even though they have a lot of knowledge on stuff, they are still guessing when they first meet you.
Yes.
Yeah. I think nowadays they always go for worst case scenario as well, just to cover their asses, if anything.
Well, they first of all, based on what you tell them, they have to make a guess what you're suffering from. Do you know what I mean? So it's not. Everybody thinks that when you go to the doctor, they immediately when you tell them, they immediately know what you're suffering from. All of it's just a guess, really, because
it is.
The information that you're telling the doctor might not be totally right, if you know what I mean. You might explain something and he might think it's something else, if you know what I mean. So it's very complicated. Yeah.
Basically, this ain't Star Trek world yet, is it? It's guesswork
No,
world.
Just quickly going back to Saved by the Bell.
Sorry, chocolate bar.
Well, you don't have to put it next to the mic and unwrap it, mate.
I don't have to, but I can.
Yes, Saved by the Bell was one of those programs that I watched in the 90s, 80s and 90s, but can't really remember much of it.
I know of it, but that's about it.
It was massive at the time, very of its time, but
I never watched it, I must admit.
Yeah, very American, but it was like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. His heart was kind of in the right place. So Dustin Diamond, 44. That's no age, is it? No,
not at all.
That's a baby.
That's half a life, mate. It's not even half. Well, half it is, half in it.
Shall I just quickly flick on another tab and then we'll just talk some fun stuff? Yes, hopefully it'll do it.
I'm trying to keep my mind off tabs, but go on then.
Clarice.
Who's Clarice?
No.
You know
Speaking of tragic news,
you know the Klutzman.
Klutzman's fucking up.
Silence of the Lambs. Kind of female take. Yeah, apparently that's aired in the States. And guess
Hold
what?
on. So wait a moment. So is it gone woke? So in other words, is the actual girl? What's her name? The main girl in
Clarice.
Clarice.
Is she a man now? Took a while for you guys to get that.
No, we got it spot on. Wah, 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 wah.
And is
I know. I would have expected at the least to be a male lead now.
You will laugh on time. You will be punished.
And what about what's his name? Anthony Hopkins' part, is that played by a woman?
They, due to copyright of different studios and stuff, which obviously you probably know more about. Yeah, they are not even allowed to mention it.
Wow, that's crazy.
But anyway, in a nutshell, it's basically been ravaged by the critics, and then they
how can you split a copyright? I can't get my head around that. That's just legal bollocks, isn't it?
It's a show that nobody wants, basically, is what they're saying. That in combination with where are we? With the
it'd be like having a
with the franchise killer Klutzman.
Exactly.
Franchise
killer. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Well, it'd be like having a Marvel universe without Spider-Man or an X-Men, wouldn't it? Oh.
Spider-Man is mentioned in his. Where are we? Here we go.
Because he fucked that up too. Yeah, I think is this the article that's doing the rounds? Because I think
it just is it. Clarice's other co-creator is Alex Kurtzman, a practiced IP hack known for Transformers, various Star Treks, a failed Mummy, and the worst Spider-Man. And this is an entertainment magazine turning on him.
Are you reading an article? That's a copyright strike on you.
He's too small. He's too small to get noticed.
We're not going to make any money anyway, so why bother? I'm not bothered, to be quite fair.
No, I was just referencing a problem being mentioning that someone got a copyright strike.
That was Noel. That was Noel. But Noel has caused a lot of well, not caused, but he had a lot of arguments on, and that's why a lot of people come out and point it out to YouTube and stuff like that, and then and then YouTube acts.
This time it's personal.
Yeah, but with this channel, it's quite small.
We haven't got enough enemies yet.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll piss somebody off. I'm sure we'll piss somebody off. Sklavko is in the chat. Hello, Sklavko. How are we doing? So, guys, Ian, you briefly mentioned something about your favourite programme before. Is that correct?
What, Doctor Who?
Yes. What's happening?
not well.
What's happening in Hooland at the moment?
There's only two rumors. There's one that's going to be cancelled, and two that a black actress is going to take Jodie's part. So, but I don't care because I don't like this era of Doctor Who at all. I said, God bless people who like it, but I don't really like it. So
don't give it oxygen.
yeah.
It's not the woman who was it Joe? What's her name? The one who was in Casualty. It's not her. It's somebody else.
No, it's this woman. If you look at one of Dave Cullen's videos, she played a Time Lord, and it was a guy, and then he gets shot, and then turns into this black woman, and it's her.
I know the one. I know.
And she says, what does she say? She says, being a man was very or something like that when she says something really sexist.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor. I mean, I don't care really. They can do whatever they want with Doctor. As far as I'm concerned, it stopped with Matt Smith because I like Peter, but
really,
Peter's stuff was just basically woke on, and it just got woken, female agenda driven. It really did get on my nerves.
Yeah.
I hear there's a fan film of Doctor Who coming out soon that's going to trump everything else that they're doing. Something that's going to blow them out of the water.
If I had a cup of tea, I'll be banging my spoon against the cup right now.
In disgust.
There you go.
But to be fair, I actually did like Capaldi as the Doctor.
I did like, but he's, as I keep saying, his scripts are terrible. And in fact, New Who, I had a real problem with New Who. I like Doctor Who. Yeah, but it was, I don't know if you guys know Doctor Who, but as I keep saying, the writing needs to grow up. And this idea that Doctor Who's for kids, no longer, you can't not say that no longer. Doctor Who belongs to the adults now, and it should be treated as such. Otherwise, we'll get juvenile drivel that Chinballs has given us. So, and they gave us juvenile drivel in Bacaldi's run and in Matt's run and some of David, well, actually a lot of David Tennant's one as well. And I could never understand that. That's the reason why I had a problem with New Who. Like, for instance, did you see the Christmas special when it was about this superhero that the Doctor accidentally gave him?
I remember that one, yes.
So the question remains is, why would he take that kid all the way up to the roof of that building? He's a kid. He's like a 6-year-old kid. Why would he let him hold a crystal that is so dangerous and let him swallow it, or he tells him to hold it? It's ridiculous.
Because it's Christmas?
No. The way they wrote that script was juvenile. It was completely and utterly juvenile. And I just thought to myself, I can't be watching this because it's pathetic. The writing is pathetic. It really is. And it was.
Yeah.
And the whole episode was rubbish. So... what's that other one, Matt Smith, with the fishes flying in the air? I'm like, what is this crap all about? And the Americans don't go there, so why shouldn't we? In other words, what I'm saying is, Doctor Who needs to grow up. It needs to have stories like the Americans have in their science fictions. It needs to grow up and be solid. A solid.
Did you think the Russell T Davies stuff was pretty good?
No, not really. I hated the first well, I didn't hate it. I welcomed it, but I was really upset. But it didn't grow up. Like, what's the thing with the eating bins? What's that all about? The first episode had eating bins. It's absolutely ridiculous for that time.
Rubbish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm there all week.
Eating bins and stupid illogical things happening in it. Like Mickey, there was the plastic alien takes over Mickey, and Rose couldn't tell Mickey was looking plastic. She's talking to him like,
that's the mannequins, wasn't it? That was the mannequins.
Yeah, absolutely shit.
They were wrecking department stores, weren't they?
Yeah.
Did they not get Kim Cattrall in there?
Yeah, they should have.
But was it fun?
Sorry?
Was it fun though?
What fun?
That episode.
No, it was. Well, it started off all right.
Do you think it was trying to be fun?
No, look, right? So at the time you had things like Stargate and Buffy the Vampire Slayer and stuff like that. And we had Doctor Who. And the music was awful. It had some kind of disco music. I don't know what the hell that was all about, as if that is in tempo with that time. It wasn't. It was completely crap, the music and the way they shot it. They didn't even shoot it on film. They shot it on Digibito, strip it off a field, and it looks freaking awful. You know, all these things. And I keep saying to myself, and I keep telling people that BBC don't give a shit about Doctor Who. If they did, they would have put more money into it. If they cared about it.
Tell you what, if I was the showrunner of Doctor Who, which in a billion universes will never happen, I would immediately make a strong choice that the title music, Hail Chet, would be the title theme tune to Doctor Who would be the Orbital version, specifically Orbital live at Glastonbury. The bit where it goes wrong at the beginning. Hang on a minute, that just gets me pumped every time.
As I said, you know, I don't want to go on about Doctor Who because, quite frankly, they destroyed it, and it can be saved, but I do believe that it should go away for 5 years and then come back.
Agreed.
Totally forgetting about about the feminine agenda and just you know what I saw today though? I saw Alien Resident.
I was going to say Alien. Yes. Any good? With
actually it's
2 dicks.
Yeah. Actually, it is a lot of fun. I thought it's nothing to be taken seriously, but I thought it was a lot of fun, and I will be seeing episode 2.
Ooh.
So I thought it was a lot of fun. You shouldn't take it seriously. It is a dark comedy.
Right, for the folks at home, what's the premise of Resident or Alien
Resident? Basically,
I believe it's Resident Alien, but you've watched it. I haven't. So.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Resident Alien. It's about an alien that has to drop off something on the Earth, so that he can obliterate Earth and the humans for reasons unknown. But his ship gets hit by a lightning bolt, and he lands.
Oh, right, okay.
And he's in Colorado in a small town, and he goes to this house and he kills the doctor that's living in that house, because the doctor that lives in that house is far away from the main town. And then he takes his form, and so he's been living. Well, basically, he's living there and he's fishing, and the police turns up and says, because he's a doctor, they say they want him to come to town because someone's been murdered. And then he says, well, why don't you get the resident doctor to take care of that? And he said, well, the resident doctor is the person that got murdered, so can you come and help us?
Twist.
So yeah,
it's like Banshee goes sci-fi.
Yeah, but it's fun though. It's a lot of fun. I found, so you know, there you go.
I've obviously it's Alan Tudyk, who was in Rogue One as the robot. Rogue One. Have you got? Is it promising then? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. There's one hole in the plot, but apart from that, it works very well. I thought it was very funny, and it's dark humor, and it's I'm not going to do spoilers, but I think it's well worth my time. Put it that way. So there you go. I had a break from editing. Just thought I'd go out there and
high praise indeed.
Watch it, yeah, no. And I was watching because I watched all of season 1 of Better Call Saul, and now I'm watching season. No, is it 2? No, season 3. No, season 2. I'm watching.
What did you think to that?
I loved it. I loved the first season, and the season 2 is just as good, as far as I can tell.
Yes, I've seen them all. Season 1 was pretty good. Season 2, not bad.
Is it a prequel series to Breaking Bad? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Did they de-age Bob Odenkirk, or did they just ignore it?
Not really. They didn't need to.
Yeah, he doesn't look old.
Well, he's actually getting younger, is he? Wow.
No, he doesn't look old in the show, but you can tell that he's wearing a hairpiece.
The kind of flash forward sequences.
They do, yeah.
They age him, don't they, a little bit?
Yeah, but he's in this film, this action film, don't you? He's heading this action film.
I've seen the trailer. Yes,
looks good.
I'm quite interested in that. Yes.
Yeah, it's called Nobody.
Yes,
it looks quite cool.
I had a look at that on your instructions, and I thought it was all right. Yeah, it's coming out in the cinemas, not over here, but yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll just come out on one of the channels, and we could sail the seas and get it.
Yeah. Quickly going back to Better Call Saul. Season 3, very disappointing.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen season 3, so.
And then season 4, fucking hell, superb.
Yeah. Said, you know, as I said, I took a break, watched a couple of things, and went back to editing.
Yeah.
And now I'm taking a break now. So there you go.
Yeah, if you can get through season 3, you will be rewarded with season 4. It's
Okay.
Breaking Bad quality.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you see the characters that was in Breaking Bad in this anyway. So
yeah.
So it's
I think season 5 should be out soon. I think hopefully it usually drops around March, April. So
yeah,
I know it's definitely the last. They're only doing 10 more episodes and that's it.
Well, as I said, we're bombarded by TV shows. It's so hard to see what you should watch, really.
Yeah.
When something catches my eye, like Resident Alien, I seek it out. I seek stuff out. When I see something that has a good premise, I think, oh, that's interesting. I'll watch that. You know what I mean? Looks like the only thing that actually attracts me to TV shows now is the premise.
Did you watch the? Sorry, Spot. Did you watch the? The El Caminino? You know that Jesse.
No, I heard it's terrible. So I didn't bother.
It was all right. To be fair, it should have been. They should have made it at the end of the series instead of waiting God knows how many years.
Yeah,
it was all right. It was all right.
What are you going to say, Cockney?
I like puns as much as the next guy. In fact, I love puns. They're a cornerstone of my comedy. But you got to wonder if you base a whole TV show on a pun. Did they really go, oh, Resident Alien? He's a resident and an alien. Let's go with the show.
I just like the idea that because it's obviously going to be a procedural, isn't it? It's going to be a procedural show. You know, like have you not noticed in recent years? I think about 6, it must be about 10 years then, they've been doing the same thing, but with twists. Like, for instance, you know what a procedural show is, don't you?
Like a police procedural.
Yeah, like police or a CSI.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's obvious that this is where this show is going. It's going to be him as an alien, you know, as a doctor investigating deaths or murders in the small town. That's where it's going. Plus, the side show is that he wants to destroy humanity. Do you know what I mean? The black humor in there. So yeah, so that's the side story.
Does he actually like land in a spaceship and all that?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he lands. He's really tall and he's got really wiry legs and stuff, and he looks like a proper alien. But then he's
a belter.
Is it like Starman?
No. Basically, he looks like an alien. He's got these big bug eyes and green skin and stuff. But he has the power to change into, I guess, anyone. He chose to
the power of Pylomorph.
Yeah, but
so
you know,
are there other aliens coming? I'm curious about the alien aspect. Which planet is he from?
I have no idea. This is just the first episode, and I don't even know why he wants to destroy humanity at all. So I guess we'll learn that go along, huh?
Shits and gigs.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. So when I hear a good premise, that's when I tune in, you know, because there's so much things on screen today, and it's like, you know, like what is that the 2 shows that are really getting loads of ratings according to Netflix, but nobody can trust Netflix because they don't show us, you know, the data. Is The Crown, and is it Boddington, or it's kind of set in the 19th century. Is it called Boddingtons? Is it called that? But
that was a joke. I don't know. I've never heard of it.
What it's called, but
you know what this is.
Boddington's Best Bitter.
Yeah, but that doesn't interest me because it's just the 19th century people dressed up, you know, women with big wigs, and you know what I mean, and it's a romance, and it's like they're dime a dozen. But something like Resident Alien, you know, it's kind of different and kind of looks fun. So, you know,
I've heard various people talking about The Crown on
so have I,
and I think it genuinely is popular.
Yeah, it is popular, but the thing with me is that I don't like stuff. Well, I did watch The Crown, tell you the truth. I watched all the seasons, but you know, it's not something I'll go out of my way to watch, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
but as I said, I went out of my way to actually catch the first episode of Resident Alien, just in case, just to see if it's any good. And I did laugh.
And it's tickled your fancy.
Yeah, I did. Another show that's really great, I don't know if you know it, Cockney Spock, is a show called Psych. Have you heard of it?
No, never even heard of it. I'm clearly not keeping up on my pop culture, am I?
Well, neither am I.
Psych is a 20, I think it's a 20-year-old show or 10-year-old show, and it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my entire life. Seriously, it's incredibly funny, and it was a cable show, but I think the BBC brought it and they showed it on BBC Two, but nobody was watching it. But I actually watched every episode. I think it went for 7 seasons.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah, and they stopped it now, but all they're doing is making one-off movies at Christmas time now. So Psych is probably one of the best shows I've actually seen on TV, tell you the truth, and it makes me laugh out loud. That's one of the things about. I mean, it's a show. It's about a geek, basically. Right. So, yeah. Do you want to know what it's about?
I was just about to say, what's the plot?
Premise? Give us the elevator pitch.
Okay, the premise is Sean, who's the star. Basically, he is a guy that is great at observation. So, for instance, his dad was a cop, so who's played by the guy in LA Law. The blonde guy in LA Law. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. Anyway,
the one that isn't Harry Hamlin.
Yeah, the one that girls used to fancy had blonde hair, but now he's got no hair. He's quite old. You remember him?
I do, and I can't put a name to the face either.
It was he the guy he starred in an episode of Star Trek as well, if I remember rightly. I forget his name.
Anyway, it's about Sean, who basically is the son of a policeman, and the policeman, when he was a kid, the policeman taught him how to scan a room, how to basically remember everything, and he's got a photographic memory. So when he goes into a room, he can tell how many doors are in the room, what color cup the girl was drinking out of in a coffee place, whatever, and stuff like that.
Has he not got a camera?
No, but he taught him how to remember things in his mind. So one day he's with because he's a really reckless guy. He hasn't got a job. He just bums around, but he's very, very clever. One day he's watching TV and he sees TV reporting a murder, and he notices something within the footage. So he reports it to the police, and the police calls him in because they think he's got something to do with the murder. How could he know this? And he was saying, well, it was on the screen, I could see it, and they don't believe him. So to get out of that problem, he lied and said he was a psychic, and the police believed him. So they let him go, and then they call him in on a case, and he sort of like gets his friend in, his school friend in, and they have this organization called.
I'm sure I've heard of this. How old did you say this was?
I think about 10 years old now.
Right, I'm sure I've heard of this, yeah.
It's very funny. It's very, very funny. And the guy who plays Sean is he's really funny. But yeah, I mean, it's a comedy first and foremost. And it's a procedural as well. So there you go. So if you ever get a chance to watch Psych, I recommend it, to tell you the truth. So there you go.
Another potential show to watch.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think I'm in the mood to really watch anything on TV.
That's good for a host of a pop culture channel.
I've watched the WandaVision stuff purely because it's short. And as I said, I started watching For All Mankind, and then problem being said it's a woke fest.
Oh dear.
Which I've seen the trailer for season 2. With lots of blue lasers and fighting on the moon. I thought, I quite like the look of that. So
blue lasers and phasers. That's what we want.
Yeah. But problem being says it's a trap. Don't believe it. So
it's a trap. I've got Expanse season 4 Blu-ray arriving any minute in the post. I can't wait. I'm at the door now.
Haven't you got Amazon? You can watch it on Amazon. Oh, you haven't.
No internet, and even if I did, I wouldn't give bozos any more money than I had to, just on principle. Blu-ray money's all he's getting out of me, that slaphead. Nothing against slapheads.
So how comes you can talk to us now if you ain't got any internet?
You caught me out on the contradiction.
The grace
there.
of God.
I'm pushing it. It's I'm actually getting slight distortion, but yeah, I did try. So to that point, I had that conversation with another broadcaster that I was working with at the time. That's yet another story, and I was telling him I ain't got enough internet. He goes, "Well, you're talking to me now," and he really wanted me to review AI that day. So I downloaded it. Well, this is the thing. It was my last attempt at doing rental downloads because iTunes charged me for it. And then they started downloading. So I played the first minute. And when you play it on a rental, you got 48 hours to watch it. And it took more than 48 hours to download it. So I lost it before it downloaded. I thought, I'm not having that. So there you go. No, the big solution is I'm moving house, but I can't get onto my estate agent
to his
because of the
ex-wife's
internet.
house.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. Not in my house, you don't. 3 houses down at least. Don't make it into a formal restraining order. So basically, faster internet and closer to endless streams of coffee. Brilliant.
Well,
carrots and chicken.
Yeah. Oh, the chicken was amazing. I know you're a vegan, but you'd have turned for this chicken. I tell you, it was amazing.
It's a shame because you can't even watch the Superman I send you then.
Well, no. What I'm going to do is go. See, downloads are fine as long as they're not rental downloads. So I'll go to the ex-missus' house and download it there. So that's
all right.
Okay. There. But also, I'm morally covered because I just bought it off iTunes and I got the second one on Blu-ray. So it's just like it's a spare, isn't it?
Well, this one's I thought it was 4 hours, but it's not. It's 3 hours long, 3 hours and something. This version.
That's still longer than the one that I just bought off iTunes. That's I think 2.5 hours, 1 hour 51 minutes. So
I watched it again. I watched bits of it again today, and there is a lot of unnecessary stuff in there. They could have easily have. You can see why they took it out, but especially the ending.
It's the too long version.
Yeah, this one's incredibly long. I mean,
is that the one where Superman's just putting his feet up, having a cup of coffee, going, "Wow,
yeah,
kettle on, Lois."
But there's a scene in there. The scene, I don't know if you know this scene. I don't know if it's in your Blu-ray or whatever. There's a scene where Lex Luthor tells Otis to feed something, this monster he's got down in the basement. So he has this huge meat and he puts on a hook and he lowers it down. You can hear this monster eating the meat. And then at the ending, when Miss Teschmacher tells Superman to save her mum, if you remember that bit.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Miss Teschmacher.
Yeah. So at the ending, when Superman saves Lois, he flies off, and then you have this scene in it where Otis is crying, lowering down Miss Teschmacher down to this creature. And she's screaming, and she's saying to Lex, "Oh, but I love you, Lex." And Lex going, "I love you too, bye." And he's lowering her down, and then suddenly you just see this flash of red, and he saves Miss Teschmacher, and they land. And what's his name? Lex is not happy, Bunny, and then it cuts to the bit where he's flying them to jail, where they land in jail. So all those bits were taken out. I think it's even taken out of the Blu-ray version as well, the extended Blu-ray. So all of that is in the version I sent you.
Okay. So, I don't know if my version's got the one where Lex Luthor runs off and forms an internet book-selling company and then takes over the world.
No, but there is scenes in it where Gene Hackman's actually on the piano singing in this version, which I found really odd. So, but you'll understand it when you watch it. There's loads of bits in it you think, thank God they cut that stuff out, So there you go.
Singing on the piano.
But when you watch the longer version, it's still enjoyable, yes?
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but
do you kind of buy into it that they've put everything into it, as it were?
No, well, the thing is, though, this version's just for collectors, isn't it? I mean, I think this version was available on DVD or Blu-ray a long time ago, but it came off the market. But this version it's very fascinating because there's lines in it as well that they took out, and you can see why they took out, like the bit where Jonathan is changing the tire on his car when they discover the car. He says something to his wife, and then in the original cut he says something, and then the Clark catches the car, obviously, when it breaks. But there's more lines he says before that happens, and it really feels odd that it's there. Do you know what I mean? Just little things like that, and big things like him chasing the rocket flying in front of the rocket dodges him and stuff like that, and you're like, whoa, never saw that in the original, you know. And stuff, you know,
JR was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he's in the original version as well.
Yeah. Larry Hagman.
As
an American general, or.
So when it comes to Blade Runner, Cockney, have you seen all the versions? I think there are 3, right, or 4?
Well, I've seen 3, and there's actually, I think, 6. There's
6.
Yeah, I know, because someone actually called me out on it, and so we went through it. So broadly speaking, there's 1982. There's basically 3 main ones, which is the 90. So basically 3. But if you want to be really pedantic, there's like the work print, the European version, the Laserdisc. But broadly speaking, it's the 1982 original with the voiceover. Then there's the director's cut, which was I think 94, and then there's the final cut, which was 2000 and something. So they're broadly speaking 3, but for the Uber fans, see whichever number I say, I'm going to get corrected. So broadly speaking 3, but for the Uber pedants, at least 6. But yeah, let's say 3.
That, don't you?
Wow, 6, eh? Bloody hell.
Yeah, 3's enough. I mean, because it is one of those films where it does arguably change canon because of this eternal debate about whether he's a human or not. So
40th next year.
Yeah, I'm still thinking there's going to be the final version. This time I mean it, with Ridley going, he's a replicant, shut it, everyone. Now
there you go. Here you go, boys. Here you go, in the chat.
What's that?
Resident Alien, Resident Evil, right. Resident Alien, Alien Evil, Evil Resident, Resident Caps Lock. Hello, Swap Shop.
You know that bit where he goes, what is it? If you're not cop, you're little people.
Yeah, you're not cop now, you're little people. That's one of those little phrases that I didn't know what that meant, and now I do.
Well, I do know what it means because of the voiceover. Originally, he says in the original version.
Right. Well, I think and life has taught me that. And watching the news, basically, if you're not cop, you're little people. If you're cop, you can get away with anything, allegedly. Yeah. But there's something about the voiceover, and actually, the Baron of Buffering made a good point yesterday. They were doing a whining about movies, about a western, but he just snuck in a little chat about Blade Runner, and he's saying that because he basically grew up, and basically the first 23 times he watched it was with the voiceover, the original 82. Yeah. So even without the voiceover, you basically get the voiceover in your head. And I agree. I watched the original so many times, I can almost do the voiceover in my head without it. And actually, my personal recommendation is I do prefer the final cut, but it is worth watching the voiceover version to get the extra information. So I'd go final cut, original version, and then final cut again. So it is, assuming you like it enough to watch it more than once, it is worth checking out Harrison Ford's infamously boring voiceover, where he has gone on record saying, I didn't deliberately do it bad, I'm just a shit actor.
I do like the voiceover, and I think the voiceover adds more to the film noir kind of feel to the film.
Yes. That's the thing. And actually, it really got me thinking about it. Basically, I think it's film noir, and it's the fact that a lot of film noir films, that's the film bit of film noir, are based on novels. And I, broadly speaking, as a rule, for myself, let's say, don't like voiceovers because it's basically trying to be a prose novel. If I'm doing a script, I'm having zero voiceover, but that's just me. I do appreciate that for some people it gives you more information. So yeah, that's
something.
Yeah, what you've done, you dropped your voiceover. So yeah, I don't like voiceovers, but I like the information they give.
I do like the voiceover because it is a film noir, in my opinion, or a science fiction film noir. I don't know how you pronounce it, but the best
I pronounce it film noir, but that's not necessarily the right way.
The best film noirs, they do have voiceovers. Double Indemnity was a film noir, and it had one of the best voiceovers in film noir history.
Part of the staple, isn't it? Gafford's been there and let her live. 4 years, he figured. He was wrong. Tyler told me Rachel was special. No termination date. I didn't know how long we'd have together. Who does? And if you watch the sequel, about 5 minutes before she blew up. Spoiler alert.
I like the line where he's explaining that Gaff was talking gibberish and it's a language that was created in the street. Do you remember when he was flying in the spinner? Yeah,
actually, good point. And then he lets on, it's only thanks to the voiceover, he lets on that he actually completely understands it, but he was just being a dick to Gaff. So quite right. So again, I'm not into voiceovers, but I definitely appreciate the extra information. It's an information-rich voiceover. So that's why I like watching the final version without the voiceover, but only because I have watched the voiceover with it or listened to the voiceover. Can't watch a voiceover, of course, unless you've got subtitles. Actually, with the subtitles, you probably get double subtitles. Yeah, so like I say, I like it without it, but only because I've watched it with it. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's why I recommend the box set, because it's got the 3 versions, at least 3
Dead
versions.
Men Don't Wear Plaids. Is that plaid?
I was
yeah.
just imaging her breasts.
They took a lot of clips from the old film noirs and stuff. One of them obviously was included. It was Double Indemnity. Double Indemnity is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't know if you guys have watched it, but it has some sparkling.
No. Confession on 4035. I have not yet watched another one on the shopping list. 4040.
It's basically about a salesman who goes to this house to find he's an insurance salesman to actually, get this rich couple to sign up for insurance, but the wife wants a death insurance, just in case her husband dies. And then he falls in love with her, and she persuades him to kill the husband so they can collect on the
that's sweet.
And stuff like that. Yeah,
it's a recent film, that isn't it? Relatively recent. If it's
no,
I'm sure I've seen it.
Double Indemnity has been, the story's been copied so many times, but
probably
it's
90s.
No, this film was made in the
70s, 80s, 83.
Oh, okay.
This film was made, I think, in the 40s. This film, and it's black and white.
I must be thinking of something else.
It's a really good film. It stars who's it?
Cary Grant?
No. It's
just guessing here.
It sounds like the plot from Fletch. That's what I was thinking.
They copied it backwards. That's some tennis right there.
Fletch.
Yeah, do you remember that?
Yeah, Fletch with Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing like Fletch.
No, I mean the plot sounded very. That's what I was thinking of. It sounded very.
They copied it backwards.
Fletch,
Double Indemnity travelled forward in time.
Yeah.
Copied the plot of Fetch, and then went back in time and made it.
I'm talking about
buggers.
It's absolutely nothing like Fletch. Fletch was about he pretended to be a tramp, and this guy hired him to kill him. A lot of money. Do you remember? But he pretended to be a tramp. But that was the, and he was trying to find out why he wanted him to kill him. But that kind of stuff. But
it just sounded very similar to me. I don't know why.
That sounds like Angel Heart to me.
Well, we were dealing with the devil in Angel Heart, weren't we?
Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. The deal with the devil. Some say the egg is the symbol of the soul. Okay, Mr. Louis Cypher. I don't know who you are.
In the old VHS days.
Yeah, no. But Double Indemnity has Fred McMurray. He's the main star. Barbara Stanwyck.
Fred McMurray. He was Herman Munster, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
Edward G. Robinson is brilliant in this film, absolutely brilliant, and everybody else plays their parts very, very well. It's one of those film noirs that you, from start to finish, you're hooked because you want to know what's going on, and the dialogue is really terrific, absolutely terrific. In that style of film noir dialogue.
The Malteser Falcon, nice one, Swap Shop.
Malteser Falcon. Yeah, Maltese Falcon is really good as well. I really like that one as well.
Was it actually made of chocolate?
Huh? No.
Was it made of chocolate? Because they were going to melt it down or something.
But going back to Blade Runner,
I was thinking that.
That's why I like the voiceover so much, because it reminded me of all these old films. I'm a huge fan of black and white movies, and it reminded me of that. Do you know what I mean? And the voiceover, in my opinion, actually made the story move a little faster, in my opinion. But
raised it from Blade Crawler to Blade
Sprinter. When you saw the version without the voiceover, the bit where he's sitting there and reading the newspaper, the first time you see Deckard, right?
It seems weird, doesn't it? It's like, where's the voiceover?
Without it, yeah. And it just seems lost because he looks up, doesn't he? Because that's maybe the voiceover.
Yeah, that's the one I've just watched. No voiceover, yeah.
And it just seems weird that the voice is not there. you know.
Yeah, it does. I admit that it totally does, because you're just so used to it. Well, come on, advertising for killers.
No, but you know what they said, right? They said that the voiceover was only, the people that made the film, the voiceover was only put in there because the studio thought we wouldn't understand it. But if you look at the film closely, there's spaces for the voiceover, even in the version with no voice. So
filmmaker insight, quite right. Without it,
I'm thinking maybe they were lying. Maybe they originally wanted, and they just lied and said they didn't. But so that doesn't explain why there's huge spaces where there's nothing going on, where the voiceover actually lays. You know what I mean?
You're right. There's to have a voiceover. You can't have a voiceover over dialogue. That'd just be silly, wouldn't it? So you're right. Yeah. Without the voiceover, you put me right off the no voiceover version. Damn. Damn, you've mega geeked me again.
What's that line where he says, what is it? Cold fish. In the beginning, what's that line?
Sushi. That's what my ex-wife called me.
Goldfish. And he, and then that guy, and he says, noodles, you know. 2, 2, 4, he says to him.
That's it. 2. I love that. 2. That is, by the way, one of those tiny. There's just so many tiny bits of dialogue in Blade Runner that make it brilliant. Yeah. That's the only time I've ever seen in film or in real life where the shopkeeper is complaining that the customers ordered too much. I mean, even that is just a nice little spin around on commerce.
Well, he says to him 2, 2, 4, and then the guy says, "What?" He goes, "Noodles." He goes, "Noodles."
And noodles.
So he just gives up, doesn't he, Deckard? He says noodles, and then he gives him the noodles, and then Gaff turns up, and he's obviously pretending he doesn't know what he's saying. He calls the Chinese guy, and he says, "What is he saying?" Do you know what I mean? So I love all that stuff. That stuff was obviously I got to like it after I watched it
after
again.
The event.
Older, when I was older, but when I saw it as a kid, I was like, "No, this is boring."
No blue phasers.
No one pew 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 in it. No pew pew. But I actually grew to like it as I got older. So, and I love that scene at the beginning. It's fantastic. Absolutely.
Here you go, boys, in the chat. Here you go.
Off-world colonies.
Yeah.
What? Free? $5 each? Come on now.
I think he must mean you, Cockney.
He don't. Well, thanks. Put it on me. Oral sex over here. Well, I don't want to be sexist, do I? I'll take all comers.
Also, I think it was really cool that Deckard took his noodles in the spinner, and as it was fried, and he was eating.
Man's got to eat,
Spinner, yeah. And I just thought it was
replicants got to eat too.
I just thought the whole thing with the spinners and stuff like that was really, really cool, and I thought Gaff was cool as well, even though he said hardly anything in the film. He had a presence, didn't he? He was
exactly that. Exactly that. Yeah, that is credit to. You can see that. I mean, that was the first time I saw Edward James Olmos. I don't know if he'd done anything before then, but I can see in hindsight where he had such a good career. Miami Vice, Battlestar Galactica, the other thing. He's just got a strong, and he was in the sequel, of course, in 2049. He's got strong, brooding presence. Amazing. Yes. Credit to Mr. Olmos if he's out there.
Do you think, Mega Nerd, that it was just a kind of coming together of parts and a accidental kind of, all these little parts just came together and made a really, really good film?
No, what? Good films are accidents. They always.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think it was an accident that it's been?
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced this myself. Good stuff always comes via the chances you get.
I've made a good film by accident.
Well, look, I say that lightly. I mean, it is kind of an accident, but like for instance, they weren't going to. I don't know who they're going to cast before someone said Harrison Ford. It's the same thing. Like for instance,
Dustin Hoffman was up for it, wasn't it? And that would have ruined it. So you're right. No, you're quite right in all seriousness. A lot of things have to come together. I mean, Star Wars and Empire definitely. That even the filmmaker, even with a genius script, could not have planned. A lot of things have to fit together. It's almost the workings of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah, or the director has to make it fit together. Like for instance, Spielberg and Lucas wanted Tom Selleck to play Indiana Jones. They were dead set on Tom Selleck playing it. They gave him a rehearsal, and they loved him. They're like, this is Indiana Jones. This is the guy that we want to play Indiana Jones, and obviously got locked into Magnum. But just as I said, it's a happy accident that they said, why don't we just get Harrison Ford? But he's known as Han Solo. No, but we'll make him Indiana Jones.
And they were the people that made exactly. George Lucas himself couldn't see it. By the way, a lot of people, most people know about the story that he couldn't do it because Tom Selleck couldn't do it because of Magnum. But what not a lot of people know is after declining it because of Magnum, there was apparently a strike on the set of Magnum.
Yes.
So he was sitting around with his thumb up his arse while Razors was shooting. So he actually could have done it after all.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, it wasn't his fault. He wanted to do it, but they had an option on the contract, and at the 10th hour, or so at the final hour, they said they were going to go for it. And so basically, so he was locked into Magnum.
By the way, side shout out to Cruel Birab, who I've not said hello to yet, and
Miami Vice. Hello, Cruel Birab.
I'll have to dig out Miami Vice. If anyone was actually alive back in 1985, it was just the thing. Suddenly, everyone was wearing a sports coat. It was just one of those things that just totally blew up. Oh, I loved Miami Vice. It was the best thing ever. I can feel it coming in the air.
Coincidentally, I have just finished. I think it was the beginning of lockdown. I thought, right, I'm going to watch season 1 of Miami Vice. So if you ever want to watch a genuine period piece, watch Miami Vice.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Miami Vice is the actual sets that actually, when I look back at it, I think this is weird. So you got all these people dressed in these designer clothes, and then you look at the office and it's a dump. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't make any sense to me. I was like,
Castillo's office has got a pen in it, and that's it on the desk.
There was an in-canon reason for that, but maybe they should have made it clearer in the actual show. Is because they were all meant to be undercover cops pretending to be cocaine dealers. So they had the snazzy clothes because they were pretending to be the cocaine dealers. But obviously in the police station, they were just pretending to be policemen, and therefore they had the drab office. So there is a reason. If they didn't make it clear enough, that's their fault, I guess.
And that's one of the things I liked about, I don't know, because if we're talking about TV shows, I'm a huge fan of the old classics. There's one of the things I liked about Kojak is that
Swap Shop's making me hungry. I've got to go to the fridge. Prepare for some ASMR. Continue.
It was that it was set in Manhattan South, which was in New York, and that's a rundown area, and in the office with Telly Savalas and the gang, the office really did look run down. And I really like that about the show, that it was trying to be at that moment in time realistic for the amount of time that it was there. And it was the first. Sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say? And yet, South Manhattan actually has some of the most expensive real estate on the planet.
Yes.
So
now it does.
Layers on layers, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember Kojak. I think I may have just been a teeny weeny bit too young for it.
Yeah, but I liked Kojak because I liked the character of Kojak because he was always, even though he was serious about certain things,
he loves you, baby.
He was always fun.
You, baby.
I remember once he was, this guy ran. He said, "I'm a policeman." He showed him his badge, and the guy started running, and so Kojak said to Crocker, he said, "Run after him." So Crocker chased him all the way around, and Kojak got into his car, and then he eventually got this guy, tackled him to the ground, and Kojak comes out the car, takes out his badge and says, "Didn't you not see my badge?" Do you know what I mean? So Kojak was really cool. He didn't have to run. Do you know what I mean?
In fact, bear with me. This is going to sound like a digression, but do you guys ever watch comedians in cars getting coffee?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Right. The one where Jerry Seinfeld's interviewing Norm Macdonald, and he's bringing up the pilot episode of Kojak. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing an impersonation of a comedian doing an impersonation of Kojak, but this whole thing where they're interviewing the mother of a dead hooker, and he sends the lieutenant in, and he believes his mum's story, and then Kojak's going, "No, you're so naive." Go, "Yeah, sure. She was mummy's little girl, pure as American apple pie, a nice girl. She was a hooker."
Yeah,
funny when he does it.
Cruel Birab watched Magnum PI during last year's lockdown.
Oh no, I'm hungry for ice cream.
Which version?
Magnum PI, that'd be the first one.
The Tom Selleck version.
That's dedication for you.
There's a thing here, cop shows featuring chocolate. First you got the Malteser Falcon, now you got chocolate Magnum PI.
I was going to say, Sorry,
Have you-
go on,
okay,
Bar
go.
Runner.
No, go on. No, I was just going to say about the Magnum PI. I watched a documentary on YouTube a couple of days ago that obviously the producers, was it Donald P. Belzario?
Yeah.
They were going to do a linked episode with Airwolf and Magnum PI, if I do remember. And were there also, was it Murder She Wrote as well? They were going to.
No, they did that. Murder She
They
Wrote.
did that, yeah.
Character Jessica Fletcher appeared in Magnum PI.
Yeah.
Mm.
But they were going to
And
do a
Noodles.
linked episode of Airwolf. Yeah, because I was really into Airwolf. I don't know
I
about
like
you
the
guys.
crossover between. I like the banter between Jessica and Magnum, because he was quite jealous of her because she kept getting things before he did. So that was quite funny. I don't know if you saw the episode.
I've got a random anecdote about Noodles.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it? I did that writers thing once where I basically lost myself and lived in a hotel because it had a built-in bar and brewery. So I was in there for months. I forgot who I was, but there was a lady there who worked in the kitchen and she was called Noodles, and we all assumed that it's because she cooked noodles, but no, it's because she was really smart and she used her noodle. Amazing, hey? Twist.
You know what, guys? I think we should get Krual Birab on one of these sometime. He says he watched the original the old series of Magnum, and he's got
And
3
Airwolf.
seasons of
And Blue
Airwolf.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the
and here
helicopters.
you go. This is for you, Ian.
Yeah, did the crossover Murder She Wrote. Yeah, it was okay. It was good. I love crossovers. Be even before
What, with
crossovers.
Airwolf?
No, not with Airwolf. With Murder
That'd
She
be
Wrote.
weird.
but,
No, Airwolf with Murder She Wrote. Angela Lansbury hanging out a helicopter with a typewriter, chucking keys at people. That's not going to work.
Was Magnum chucked in at prison? He got accused of something, if I remember.
I can't remember the episode, but I
You
do
can't
remember.
chuck an ice cream into a prison. What are you on about?
But
Don't be a flake.
they used to do crossovers in the old days as well. I remember what's his
Archer with Bob's Burgers.
Hey,
That's a
what?
crossover. I'm not joking. That is a legit crossover. Don't laugh. I'm serious. Archer did a crossover with Bob's Burgers. Isn't that right, fact checkers? Swap Shop will bear me out.
Oh, you're talking about the cartoon?
Yeah. Oh, is there a live action version?
No.
That live action Bob's Burgers and or Archer. No, he was. I think Archer worked undercover in Bob's Burgers. It's out there on the interwebs. Fact checkers will confirm.
Well, there was the Simpsons crossed with Family Guy. That was all right.
No one noticed the difference.
No, but it was okay. It was all right. It wasn't great, but it was okay. But yeah, I love crossovers. I like when they cross over TV shows and stuff. They did one in Seinfeld as well. They did a crossover. Yeah, the Seinfeld.
No. I thought
Who was
all
it?
the Seinfelds. I got the box set. What did they do a crossover with? I
I
demand
don't
to
know.
know.
One of the characters from another TV show was in it. I can't remember who it was though.
Well,
Anyway.
that goes back to the guy from Breaking Bad and Malcolm in the Middle played a dentist in Seinfeld, but it was just that actor. It wasn't a crossover.
Yeah, but there was
such.
a crossover. Oh, that was it.
We need an online fact checker in the audience.
Was it New Girl?
Guys in the chat, come on, guys, step up to the plate.
Was it New Girl? New Girl was it New Girl in Friends? I can't remember. It's either Friends or Seinfeld.
Hated Friends. Hated it.
Probably
This
Friends,
one-
because I'm more comprehensive on my Seinfeld. If there was a crossover, I'd have known about it, I'm sure. Not that I know everything, of course. I have to rewatch the entire 9-season box set now just to look
You
at
told
the
me you know
crossover.
everything.
I was lying.
Well, I do like the procedurals where they actually have someone that has a special talent. Like for instance, the Mentalist. You ever watched The Mentalist?
I am.
Again, I've heard of it. I've never. watched it, though.
Mentalist.
I think
Sorry.
Mentalist.
Channel 5 were playing that, weren't they? If I remember
Yeah,
right.
it's a great show. Mentalist is great. It's finished now. It was
I'd
a
like
really
to
good.
see a three-way crossover between Star Trek, Doctor Who, and Star Wars. I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that would
Nah.
be really expensive, though. Wouldn't it?
That would be.
I always
they
thought a
used to
Doctor Who Star Trek crossover would be ace.
Well, you got time travel, parallel universes. It's definitely canonically feasible, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is.
They should do it. Jodie Whittaker on Discovery. Oh, can you imagine? That'd be brilliant.
Should fit right in.
Yeah.
A shoo-in for that shit.
Well, yeah, as I said, I like procedurals with with people who are really good at their job or has a specialty and stuff like Psych is one of them. Mentalist is another. I can't think of any more actually.
So procedurals are kind of cop show, kind of whodunit type things, I suppose.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Okay.
With because CSI spawned two shows, didn't it? The first CSI, so it was.
I think there's about 35 different versions of that now.
CSI Miami, CSI Cleethorpes,
MFI, Dagenham.
CSI New York, wasn't it? With
yeah.
Gary, that one. Gary Sinise. Yeah.
CSI Liverpool. All right there, mate. I'm with the busies, the fucking busies.
no. But yeah, no, it's TV shows are always fascinating.
You like your cop shows?
No, not particularly. I like shows that I like the concept. I like the concept of shows that always gets me watching. As I said, The Mentalist is about a guy who you know what Mentalist is, right? It's a guy. Do you?
There's one on the top right corner.
No. Yes. I made that joke 3 minutes ago, but no one noticed because I thought, he's stating the truth there. I said, I'm a mentalist, and then I went, mentalist. Rewind, bow selector.
Do you know what mentalist is then?
No, I just assumed, I just guessed telepathically.
He's kind of like a magician. He can.
That's prestidigitation, isn't it?
He's a magician. He's like an expert in every kind of trick and every kind of hypnosis and everything. He's an expert on everything that's yeah. So he's an expert. So
prestidigitation.
So when people could look at you and say, "I know what number you're thinking of," or pick a number between blah blah. They know all those tricks.
Yeah.
69.
So the police hires him to solve cases because he's really good at it. So
all right, let's try it now. All right, right, Mr. Brown, think of a card. Think of a card, a playing card, right? Hold it in your mind. If this works out, this will blow your mind. Are you literally thinking of a playing card?
I am thinking of a playing card for the folks at home.
Right. Is it the King of Hearts?
No.
Bugger. What was it?
It was the Ace of Spades.
Oh,
the
too obvious.
The Ace of Spades.
No, fuck that one up.
To match my channel colours, you see. Black
is my
heart. By the way, right? In Resident Alien, they have some really neat jokes in there. There's a black cop, right? And anyway, I'm not going to give it away.
Megan getting pumped.
Black cop.
Oh, seriously,
one, isn't it? For you hip hop heads out there, it goes black cop, black cop, black cop, black cop. Great chorus, very memorable.
Would you would you fancy maybe doing a show with kind of like about cop shows, procedurals, like kind of because I was always into Starsky and Hutch.
I love Starsky and Hutch. I don't know if you guys remember
Professionals.
Love the Professionals.
I even like Cagney and Lacey.
Yeah, Cagney and Lacey was good only because of Lacey, because she was gorgeous. But,
Lacey, I'll go for that.
As I said, Kojak was just a little. I remember it, but I was probably just a teen, maybe a year, 1 or 2 years too young to kind of appreciate it.
There was Starsky and Hutch. There was Kojak. There was Quincy.
I loved Quincy.
Quincy was fun.
I thought I loved it, but
it was fantastic. Yeah, that was prime time ITV on a Monday night.
It was.
I even remember when it was on. My goodness.
Yeah, that's how.
I just remember that bit at the beginning. I just like they have a. Do you remember the classic fake out where you think he's doing an autopsy and he's just checking out some bird in a bikini?
He's old enough to be a dad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You dirty old man, Quincy. Oh, is that it?
I said we're just going to do an hour. We've just gone 5.
We've run over.
Would you fancy, Ian, maybe sometime doing a, cop show thing?
Cop
shows.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely.
Because we seem to get forgetting about.
Do Do you do requests? Because I need to do a 5-minute Star Wars fan film.
I know I don't want to make fan films. The only reason why I'm doing the Doctor Who thing is
As your
because
Doctor Who coming
To
along.
prove a point.
actually, do you know what? I'm getting my props guy's making a sonic screwdriver.
Oh,
So-
I've actually got one.
Ooh.
No.
You can buy them in shops, you know.
No, I did a design purely
Your
for
own
my.
one.
Is it
Yes.
pink and got a knobbly bit on the end?
No,
Is it
that
a
would
neck
be
massager?
female.
Does it vibrate at
No,
2000
no.
RPM?
But it's a really good design. So he's making it. He showed me showed me it halfway today. So and I'm really pleased with it. So so I can't wait to
Does it glow?
yeah, it has a crystal at the top.
What
Has a red
may
crystal.
I ask what colour it glows?
It's red.
Blue.
Red. Because
Sonic the
Matt's
screwdriver.
was green, David's was blue, Peter's was blue. I think John Pertwee's one, he didn't have a glow on his, but he had a red ring around his one.
Oh, God, that hurt.
But that was
And-
painful.
And I don't know what. I don't think Eccleston had a light on his one at
Do
all.
the
Right.
screwdrivers regenerate then, or does each new Doctor just put on a different bulb?
They kind of get a new screwdriver to suit their character.
Where do they get
So-
it from?
So your
How does that
doctor's
work in
angry.
canon?
They get it from the TARDIS. The TARDIS creates one for them.
Does it? Has it got a
Anger.
workshop in there? It's bloody got everything in there apart from a fish and chip shop, isn't it?
Because in Matt Smith's era, when he got his new TARDIS, the console kicked out a new sonic screwdriver for him. So
I've got a brand new TARDIS. I'll give you the screwdriver. Bing, 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 bing.
Shall
so-
we? We'll finish off with a little comment from Swap Shop, going back to the police shows.
Police
Now
Squad.
in colour. Is that
Now
some kind of
in
buff?
colour.
Police Squad was fun. It was
I
fun.
was.
just
And
want to see the Malteser Falcon. I'll tell you what, chocolate police.
Way ahead of
procedurals,
its time. that
That's
was.
where I want to go. So yeah, we've got the Malteser Falcon, Magnum Ice Cream PI. There's got to be a third one, isn't there? I guess Kojak's already a shoe in with his lollipop, so that's already you got
I
the
can't-
confectionery covered there.
I can't remember. I can remember a few episodes of Kojak because I was quite young as well.
His brother was in it, wasn't he? Savalas's brother.
Was
Yes.
he?
George.
What's
George
he
Savalas.
called?
He played
Video
Crocker.
Savalas,
He played Crocker. He was Crocker. That was Telly Savalas' brother.
Right.
not
The
video.
guy with curly hair. That was his brother.
Yeah,
VCR
yeah.
Savalas.
Not Crocker. I mean, sorry, it was Stavros. He played Stavros.
Yeah,
Did he own a
Stavros.
kebab shop?
Make
Wasn't it
me
the
a
Dalek that owned
crocodile
the kebab
sandwich
shop?
and make it snappy.
Hello, everybody. Davros here.
Was a shit joke.
I have
back in
some
the,
very nice
70s.
Daleks.
Murder She Wrote as well.
Murder She Wrote.
She hopes. Are you going to talk about that?
Right, guys. Shall we call it
I
a
like
draw
the
then?
way
So we
Brown
can go
just
to
gets.
bed.
Are you like this? When you're making sweet love, just halfway through, like right, that's it. I'm bored
Well,
now.
I could stay here all night. I don't need to get up.
That's what you said to her.
What about you, Ian? You've got work to do tomorrow.
No,
have you not?
No, I'll get tomorrow, but I'm my own boss, aren't I? So, but you know,
Ooh. I'll tell you what then. All right. We'll do
Come on,
a,
at least one. Let's go up to 115. Come on, you like your round numbers.
let's talk more about Blade
we'll
Runner.
do we'll do
Yeah, Blade Runner. We need more Blade Runner chat. There's still
We
more
talk-
to explore.
It's pumped. The mega nerd is pumped.
No, it's
It
not
is,
that.
but-
It seems pointless to come on for an hour. Do you know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. I'm gonna call him Blue Balls Brown. He gets us on, gets us pumped, and then whips the proverbial rug from
Always
under our feet, doesn't
Leave
he?
them wanting more.
You're having fun.
Or in
mate.
my
Well,
case,
you're right.
pissing them off.
Come on,
Right,
74
guys.
minutes. No,
You can't. You
He's
can't have.
cool.
You can't have a live stream just for an hour because an hour is not enough to talk about anything. We've just talked about nothing.
We're just
that hour.
warming up. You know what's going to happen, Brown? We're going to go off air and then do all the real funnies like we always do. You know this is the sweet spot. Come on, 7 minutes, Brown. At least 7. I'm with a mega geek on this. We're outnumbering you, Brown. Stay on. Come on.
I will say
7
yes.
minutes.
We'll do.
Yes, Daddy says yes.
I'll tell you what. We'll do 1.5 hours. So we got 20 minutes.
Ah,
Yeah,
I can
it's
relax
plenty,
a bit
yeah.
now.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to talk more about. I
Winding
want
down.
to know more about what Cockney thinks of Blade Runner and the deletion of the voiceover.
I'm really. You've convinced me. See, this is like with the is he a replicant question? Yeah, listening to other people really. Yeah, listening is a good thing. You know, you can learn stuff. I think it's fair to argue that unless you've seen it with the voiceover, you're not going to get as much of out of it without the voiceover, and that's probably why they put both versions or all three versions. I say all three, asterisk, there's at least three others on the box set. It is if you're going to be out there buying Blade Runner, people, make sure you get the physical media and make sure you get the box set with at least three versions on it. Watch all three, and then you're going to get the full Blade Runner experience.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I've watched all three, but you know,
you like the original, don't you? You like the voiceover.
And also the original, as you know, I mean, I know they put it in at the last moment. It gave me a hopeful ending because obviously I didn't think there was going to be any sequel or anything like that. But the ending was quite hopeful that he was going to go away with this sentient being, and he was in love with this sentient being, and they were going to have a life together. I mean, Rick Deckard didn't want to kill you know, sentient beings, did he? He realized they were more alive than humans, so he had a real quandary there, didn't he?
That's why I've changed my answer to the question of is he a replicant from yes to what the fuck are you asking for? What's it to you? If you can't tell after an hour of interviewing with your highfalutin void comfort machine, it obviously doesn't matter. It's paying taxes. It's doing a job. What do you want? So yeah, for me, I'm going to have to watch it again, seeing the replicants as the good guys and the Blade Runners as the bad guys. It's going to be a new film again after 39 years.
Yeah, I'll agree with you, Spotney, because when I watched it, I thought the replicants are not bad guys, really.
Well, they did do horrible things, but
like you say, Meggie, apart from the murders, but arguably they wouldn't have committed the murders if they weren't getting hunted down anyway. So it's a bit of a circle, isn't it? If you,
you're right.
I was going to say it's not any group that gets targeted, and this applies to the real world, will then turn. And this and almost it's a quite a profound meditation on all kinds of prejudice, basically. Because if you set up a group, whether it's by gender, ethnicity, nationality, whether they're a replicant or whatever it is, then obviously they're going to get the ump before you started because you've ring marked them as a bad group. So if you say we're bad, we're going to be bad. If you're hunting us down to kill us, then obviously we're going to kill you first. I mean, it's a warning to governments. Don't make enemies of your people. We'll make enemies of you. Speech over.
I do like, as I said, when you look at it carefully, they did murder, but they were trying to find out. Well, Blatty was the one that was murdering people. Let's face it. They were trying to find out why they only had a 4-life lifespan, and they're trying to free themselves because they were literally slaves. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
Rick Deckard is hired to hunt them down, but why? Do you know, they're sentient beings. It's like trying to kill Data.
Exactly. And that's why it carries over to Battlestar Galactica. In fact, Edward James Olmos must have been thinking, there's a bloody theme going on here. It's the same thing with toasters. If you can't tell it, same with Balthazar with his toaster test, which they kind of had as a plot device, and then they kind of dropped it. But it was basically, well, if you need a test to know if any of them are toasters or Cylons, then it shouldn't matter, and hence the war. Although in that case, in that instance, the Cylons did start the war on the humans, where in Blade Runner, the replicants didn't start the war on the humans. The humans started it. But, God, see, I've interested myself. I'm listening to myself going, yeah, God, Cockney's got a point there.
The question remains is that, especially in the original version, why was Rachel granted
unlimited life?
Incept date. Why was she granted that?
Well, thank you, because I was just thinking and I almost forgot. Yeah, because that's another tiny bit of dialogue that says so much when Deckard goes, how can it not know what it is? Yeah. And that's the key, that she doesn't know. And another thing, so much information packed into one sentence. He says it before he tries to shag her. How can she not know what she is? So 2 points in one sentence. Well done, Hampton Fancher and David Peoples.
Also, the creator, right, claimed that that's just the way they are. They only have 4 years, but yet he gave Rachel a lifespan more. So it was obvious that he knew how to do it. He knew how to expand the life of Blatty and the rest of them, but he just wouldn't do it. But why did he deem Rachel to be more important than the rest of them?
Yeah, it shows that he was like a good example of corporate lying. Basically, he's lying to the others because he could have given them more life, basically, right? So, quite right.
Yeah, so it's an interesting that when you look deeper into Blade Runner, all these questions come up.
That's the thing. It's a real. I mean, 39 years later, and we're still talking about it on a pop culture channel. Before, yeah, and of course, there's other channels listening to us right now. So yeah, I think we're going to hit 40 years, and we're still. I predict that next year we will still be.
You two will still be here in 40 years talking about it.
Way.
Another thing that really is puzzling as well is that so they all jump ship, which you don't see, and you were just told.
Yeah, the shuttle. Yeah.
So why did some of them split off and go their own direction, and the rest, some of them stuck together, like Blatty and
Blatty, Blat. I think it's Batty, but Batty. Let's not split hairs over an L.
Well, actually, they did all split up, didn't they? But they all they got together again.
Because you know that confusion, and I think they overdubbed it in the dialogue about whether there's 5, 4, 3, or 2 to go. So there was an extra. There basically was going to be another replicant, and they ran out of budget. I understand.
There's loads of questions, like for instance, the guy that took in
morphology, longevity, those things.
The guy that took in Pris, right? He obviously knew Pris was a replicant, but yet he allowed her to stay in his place and gave her a home. Why did he do that?
You've just uncovered another thing. I always assumed that he assumed that she was a human, but now you mention it, he obviously does genetic design work for the Tyrell Corporation. I didn't know that he knew. When did you find out?
No, he says there's a line he says.
Oh, because you put a hand. Sorry, put a hand at the boiling egg incident. Of course, yeah.
And he said he admired the structure of her and stuff like that, and he knew, but he allowed her to live with him. Was it because because she was
her?
Yeah, was it because of that? But it wasn't really made clear.
It was a commentary on the male gaze, wasn't it? I think in today's eyes, that's what they say. Well, he didn't care because he fancied it. He liked her tits. Didn't care if they're real or not.
Also, the girl, the dancer with the snake,
Zora.
What? So she ran away and she tried to hide as a stripper.
Yeah, watch her take the pleasure from the snake that once corrupted man.
So
she ran through.
Why run away and then suddenly make yourself public? Why didn't she just hide? Like that's
a kind of film noir thing, isn't it? Hiding in public is the best place to hide. Although obviously it wasn't because she got found.
Yeah, she got found.
Yeah, so I guess bad choice there, Zora. Fucked up there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not fish, snake scales. Well, another little tidbit. Apparently, that slide that's blown up is actually marijuana. There you go. Neither fish nor snake.
And as I said, I don't understand why Rachel got preferential treatment, and the rest of them only had 4 years, and she didn't have any end date. But then again,
so impossibly beautiful.
Well. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. She wasn't even a pleasure model. Pris was a pleasure model, right?
I know. If I was Tyrell, I'd make 100 Rachels and never go out.
But wasn't she the pleasure model for Tyrell?
I don't know. See, that was never made clear.
Well, no, she was meant to be his niece.
The guy with the ashtray bottoms.
No, I doubt it because she was meant to be his niece. He got his niece's memories. So she think? So she must have thought that she was his niece. If she got his niece's memories and didn't know she was a replicant, if I'm following it through correctly.
And also, right, if Rick Deckard was a replicant, which the debate is still out there, wouldn't Tyrell know that he's a replicant? Wouldn't Tyrell know when he comes in to actually do the void contest?
Yes, he must have done, because he wouldn't have been made by a rival company.
Wouldn't he have said anything about to Rick Deckard that he was a replicant? And wouldn't he question the police sending Rick Deckard in the first place to actually interrogate another replicant, which doesn't make any sense?
Replicants interrogating replicants. Oh, it's all gone weird. It's too meta. cats living with dogs.
I'm just
both
saying.
of them, now you mentioned it. So definitely, since there's no debate about Rachel being a replicant, the key is, again, how can it not know what it is? She
Do you
doesn't
think
know
the
she's a
writers
replicant.
would have considered that?
Well, yeah, because they established that you got in canon precedent that if Rachel doesn't know that she's a replicant, that you can have a replicant that doesn't know it's a replicant. Therefore, it's feasible, if not absolutely confirmed in every version, that Deckard's a replicant too, because he doesn't know. And that's the thing. If you don't know you're a replicant, that's how good it is. I mean, we might be replicants. You're a replicant. I'm a replicant. Brown, he's definitely a replicant.
What's the creator's name? What's the creator's name?
Eldon Tyrell.
Tyrell would have known that Rick
Deckard was a replicant.
Yeah.
Well, in Blade Runner 2049, it's established that when they got him in, that it was actually a trap. It's a trap. That they made him meet Rachel because she wanted to fall in love with him. But having said that, that's not relevant to whether he's a replicant, because, of course, as some but not all people know, Denis Villeneuve has gone on record as confirming that he stayed away from the debate.
An upgraded model? Would he have known?
Well, since it's never explicitly said he's a replicant, it's never said what Nexus he is.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense. I think originally they made out that he when they were making the film, it was completely clear to everybody that
I'll tell you what, we should have a debate about that.
It's not plot holes, is it?
Was a replicant. So I reckon Ridley Scott is kind of talking out of his ass when he says he was always a replicant. He wasn't always a replicant.
To be fair, although I don't agree with him,
he wasn't a replicant in the original script. He wasn't a replicant.
To be fair, the Baron of Buffering claims that it was a retcon on Ridley Scott's part. I'm not sure that it was, but
I think it was.
The Baron's with you on that one,
because the what is it? The unicorn scene when he's on the piano and he falls asleep. That wasn't in the original film,
correct?
Or was it?
It was no, it wasn't. You're talking about your own memories. You're right. It wasn't. It was added in the director's cut, and it wasn't. And added to that, some people think it was extra footage from Legend. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. But what I'm saying is that I think originally when they made the film, it was clear that Deckard was human and ran away with a replicant at the ending. But
I've only gone as far as you could go either way. No, it's definitely you definitely could infer he was a replicant because of that quizzical look. Basically, they go, Harrison Ford, give us your quizzical twist ending look when he picks up the unicorn. And that's why it's implicit in the first version and explicit in the second version.
They could have filmed that scene. Could have been Rachel's dream.
I guess it would have been more explicit if you'd gone, fucking
hell,
hold on,
so it could have been Rachel's dream originally, and they took it out of the film. And then when he finds the unicorn from Gaff, it could have been Gaff saying to Deckard that he knows that Rachel is different.
And that goes back to the voiceover, because the initial implication isn't of what the unicorn or what the shape was. It's just the fact that you left one there. Gaff had been there and let her live. So that also is very clever, because that means it's basically, I think, very clever script writing to have a non-humorous pun, something that's got two meanings. So in other words, if you think he's a human, the unicorn just means that Gaff was there. And if you go with the correct version that he's a replicant, it means two things. A, he was there, and B, he knows that he's a replicant. So it is very clever the way that it can mean one or two things. So layers upon layers. I'll tell you what, we might have another. We've turned this into a second Blade Runner special. We're going to have a third Blade.
Doomcock will be listening.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that you question, isn't it? Now, when you think about it very carefully, you question it. You question it a lot. The whole
so much.
There's so much stuff to analyze, and it just goes to show how great the film is.
It's a film analyst's wet dream come true, isn't it?
As I said, it's just it's a really one of the scenes that hardly anybody talks about. I remember as a kid, I thought was really cool when I first saw it was the bit where he's looking at a photograph, stop, move left, move right, when he was looking at that photograph, zoom in, these
days I try and do that in Photoshop, because if you combine Photoshop with voice activation, you can try
Photoshop with Blade Runner.
Zoom in. I said zoom in, Siri, you digital dunce.
Question, boys, in the chat.
How do you think the world reacted? Well, with all
I feel like a
apology to
replicant.
me, that's what we are. All replicants. We're in the Matrix. We're replicants in the Matrix.
We are.
Double twist.
I should have taken the red pill, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Why do you take both pills? I'd have mushed them together and make a purple pill. Purple Manchester.
Mm.
Ian, how many times have you seen 2049?
2049.
I'm up
The
to 6
Blade Runner.
now. Like, seriously, it didn't take until the 4th viewing for me.
I've
Literally,
only
been banging on about it again.
I've only seen. Actually, I've seen it twice. I saw it once in the cinema where I fell asleep halfway through.
yeah, me too.
And then I saw it on TV. I fell asleep halfway through, and then woke up.
Trust me, the 3rd and 4th takes. Just seriously, just give it another go.
I just think
Trust
it's
me, Mega Geek.
Look, I just think it's pretentious nonsense. There was no need for this film at all. They only did it to make.
The director's called Denis Villeneuve.
They only did it to
Swindon.
make more money. That's all they did it
Which
for.
they didn't.
Well, the finances. That's
There was
why all
need-
films are made.
There was no need to make this film. It didn't warrant a sequel at all. But obviously,
Well, Doomcock's with you on that one. He refuses to watch it, which I would accept, except he's set through Pew Card, Disco Very, Slap Woman, and all the other shite. And the one thing he refuses to watch is, for me, to this day, the most underrated sequel ever made. I mean, you're right. I mean, in a way, I'm like, in my head, is it even canon? But I just think, as a film, it's just amazing visuals, good music. Although I would have asked for some Vangelis, I think. But yeah, I'm in two minds about the music. They should have had Vangelis.
No, it was good.
Considering it,
even though Vangelis didn't do it.
Yeah, but considering it's not Vangelis, some of the music is actually very good. I actually want a third Blade Runner. I want a Blade Runner 3.
The reason why that film is pretentious is because it concentrates on things that shouldn't be concentrated on too much, like the visuals.
Like gorgeous visuals.
Nice visuals. You know, the story's more important than the visuals.
But
they could have moved that
technically,
story
you've
a
not
lot
seen it though,
more.
because you've fallen asleep on both.
No. I've seen the majority of it. I just fell asleep halfway through it because it was so dull and slow.
All right, here's some things I like about it.
I liked it, and I'm not a fan of Blade Runner. I went to the cinema, thoroughly enjoyed it, and then when it came out on video, I specifically went out my way to watch it and enjoyed it just as much. And I'm not a Blade Runner fan. I was there for the spectacle, as it were.
I got bored. I got bored, and I didn't care about any of the characters in it. And Harrison Ford came in and he rumbled, and it was just rubbish.
Really? What about Joy? I think after the 5th viewing, I realised that joy and love are two sides of the same coin. So I like both those characters individually. Talk about Beauty and the Boat, Beauty and the Beast. They're both. and specifically,
it's like you two, Beauty and the Beast.
Is that a line from Blade Runner? Is it?
That's right. And I'll tell you what, one of my favourite lines in any movie that I like to quote in real life, basically, when what's the main character who definitely is a replicant called Thingy? The main guy, Skinner, Bert or Ernie. I know. The protagonist. Where he's basically out there, and then Love, she's watching him, or is it Joy? Love, and then do your job, do your fucking job. I mean, whenever I'm in a vaguely, whenever I'm playing the role of the employer and I'm getting excuses why X didn't do Y and Z, I'm like, do your job. Like with the internet, it's because of this, it's because of that. I don't care. Do your job. Do your fucking job. I only wish that, like her, I had some aerial unit that could fire bombs on the internet company. Not really, only joking, don't cut me off. But no, that is, for me, that is just one of the... If you've ever worked with people that give you crappy excuses for not getting stuff done, do your job. Do your fucking job. Watch it again, please, Mega Geek. If you ever do anything for me, please watch Blade Runner 2049 again. It hasn't changed. You have.
There are some films, right, are just pretentious for pretentious sake, and there are some films that find the balance. And the second Blade Runner film did not find the balance, in my opinion. It was just very, very pretentious, slow moving, and
that's what you said about the first one. Now you can't stop talking. Call yourself and make it right. That's it. Watch party.
Because you talk over me doesn't make you right. Okay, you acting like these now. I I said, and I quote, I was too young to appreciate it.
I
said
know, I'm just
so that's what I'm saying. So I do appreciate it now, but I still think it's slow. And there's a lot of stuff they could have cut out the original Blade Runner, but now there's 6 versions according to you. So what do you do?
Note the according to you. Fact checkers confirm that everything I state is a fact is a fact. All right, let's say in 40 years' time, if we're still on the Mr. Brown channel, I mean continuously,
I'll be
we're never
long
going to get
gone.
off. Then I predict that when you're
A
90,
riot.
you'll be going, do you know what? Cockney was right. I love Blade Runner 2049. It's so deep. It got me thinking. But when I was a young man in my 50s, I was looking for blue lasers and phasers. Pew, pew, pew.
Never say never.
No, look,
just did twice.
The films I like is the films that find the balance between art and great entertainment, right? I would honestly truly say that a film like Jaws finds that middle. Some really great stuff in it, and it's very entertaining. Like normies could watch that film and be scared and enjoy that film, but it has some great art in there too. It's just the films that go over the top with the art, and the director and the producer thinks they're creating something special, and in the end of the day, just in my opinion, they don't. They go too much that side. Do you know what I mean?
Bloody directors with their incredible visuals. How dare they?
I take it you're looking forward to Dune then.
Dune? No, I'm not. I didn't like the first version, which was David. What's his name? David Lynch's version.
And that had Sean Young in it.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
Dune buggy.
In the chat, boys.
Yeah. Oh, Space Odyssey was slow. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I didn't really like 2001: A Space. I like 2010, but I didn't like 2001.
Channel favorite. Yeah, channel favorite. 2010, great film.
I didn't like it at all. I mean, as I said, there are films that are too pretentious and I find really irritating. And as I said, they have no regard at all. So, you know, that's just my opinion. A lot of people would disagree, and God bless them for disagreeing. Because that's
God rest them after you wipe them out with your blaster. God have mercy on your soul. The crime, enjoying a pretentious film. The punishment, instant slow death.
Pew, 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 pew.
Beauty is brilliant, isn't it? And doesn't have any pew pew pews in it, and that's bordering between art and great.
Which one was that? Sorry,
which one? Sorry,
American Beauty. I thought it was a really great movie.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's what I'm saying. Got the balance right there. You know that's films that have the balance is films that people can connect with, and because it borders in between them, you don't forget that film, and that's the beauty of those films. But as I said,
American Beauty.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. You know.
I think that's a fair basic statement on any films. Yeah. Nobody can be criticised. And I'll even test this out. If someone says they like The Last Jedi, that's the devil's advocate tester, but I reserve their right for them to like it because it is just opinion. If anyone out there, if you like Last Jedi, I won't hold it against it. So quite right, Mega Geek. All films are opinion.
Jedi, always. It always goes back to it.
If anything is objectively bad, it's The Last Jedi. But I'm basically agreeing with Mega Geek. It's just opinion. Everyone has the right to like or if you think that the best film ever made is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which I do, then that's fair enough. You know, I mean, to be fair, it actually came up earlier, and I didn't. I stayed my own interruption. But I actually, to this day, don't understand what goes in my own head. No, wait, I'm not done yet. Whatever part of my brain decides to. That it enjoys a film, especially when it changes its mind, like with Blade Runner 2049. You know, it's literally the same film, and I enjoyed it more and more. So I don't understand what goes in my head when it goes, yeah, I like that film. And so maybe that's why I got into film critique, because I'm trying to understand my own subconscious thought process of why I like a film. Why? Because I don't know. The brain just goes, yep, like him, that. Kettle on, we're watching the rest of it. You know, I don't know. Why do I like some films, not others? I don't know.
But as I said, it doesn't. You know, that's what makes the world go around. People have different opinions, and I don't begrudge anyone that likes, you know, the last Blade Runner film or 2001. You know, that's up to them, isn't it? But for me, it doesn't work because I'm the person that like the balance in films between art and entertainment. I love it when they find balance, and so I can understand it more. So I don't have to basically work to understand it.
What you're saying is overindulged itself, didn't it?
Well, with the last Blade Runner film, it was a lot of hard work to look at that film, and that's what I don't like about movies, that you have to kind of. It was just so long, and it was just so dull, and and you had to try and force yourself to watch it, and then in the end, I couldn't. I just fell asleep in the cinema. I think I was snoring in the cinema.
That was you. I just realised
the second time I saw it, I was on the Turbo Trainer doing a 2.5 hour session. So for me,
the thing is, as I said, if you have to work to make yourself like a film, then something's wrong somewhere. That's totally my opinion.
Agreed there. I'll tell you what, they're thinking about it. They I don't think Blade Runner 2049 was the best title. You know what they should have called it? Blade Runner 224.
And the noodles.
Plus noodles, that'd be the extra bits.
As I said, you got films that are whimsical, and you got films that are really intelligent and has the in between. Films like I like Field of Dreams. I like that film. I thought it was very magical.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people watch it and I think it's rubbish, but I thought it was really fun.
Well, do you know what? Now you mention it, and basically, that for me, that's one of those ones that it's tied into a subjective memory, because I went and saw it with my dad, and he loved it, and my dad's passed away also, so I just get a nice memory of seeing it with him. And I wasn't well into it, but he liked it, and there were certainly elements of So some films you like more or less depending on the circumstances in which you saw them.
Too much cheese last night, apparently.
Too much cheese and noodles.
It's other films like 1 Hour Photo I really like, and people just forgotten about. I love the X-Files movie because I was a huge fan of the series, and I liked the way the movie. I liked the movie as well.
Yeah,
I never saw it.
Well,
first one was great.
I've got a lot of homework after this. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this entire show with a pen and paper.
16 Blocks, I really like, and people have forgotten about that film.
Which one?
16 Blocks, directed by Richard Donner. I like that film, but a lot of people have forgotten that film exists. As I said, Double Indemnity is probably one of the best films ever made. If you look at that, that was shot in the 40s. That's absolutely brilliant. The dialogue is sparkling. It from start to finish, you're engrossed. And that was a film made black and white 40s movie. Do you know what I mean? There's some really great gems out there that have been forgotten.
Black Hawk Down.
Well, I haven't seen that classic. Can I? Black Hawk Down. No,
have you not seen it?
Have you not seen it, Ian?
Everyone's seen that.
That's a great war boner. That is
war boner film.
As I said, there's some great films out there, and
before I came on air tonight, I was watching a few documentaries about RoboCop 1987.
That's a good film. RoboCop.
Such a great film. Go on in. Sorry.
Yeah, there's some really great Japanese and Korean films out there that I really love as well. Just absolutely like that. I don't know. I told you guys you should watch a film called The Call, which is on Netflix, and that's a Korean film. That's a recent film, and that was really good as well.
I've got a Korean film here.
Travel, Cockney.
I've got Parasite here.
I haven't seen Parasite.
Me neither. I'm literally holding a Blu-ray and I still haven't seen it.
The Call.
Backlog.
The Call is a time travel film. You should watch that.
Oh, I've got to, so I can work out which of the three types of time travel it does. The Call. Yeah. Okay.
The Call.
Another reference on recommendation on 13801.
And there's films that I like for certain reasons, like for instance, the romantic film While You Were Sleeping. I like that because of Sandra Bullock. Because she looks so cute in that film, and because and because she's so cute and young in that film, you kind of warm to it because of her. There's certain reasons why you like certain films, isn't there? So, it's not all one way of liking
or the other.
Yeah, it's loads of different things, isn't it? So
before I forget, shall we definitely do the TV cop show stream sometime?
If you want, I mean,
because I was genuinely into stuff like that, so yeah, I'd enjoy that.
You got to pick one day. You gotta, so we can, because like if you pick Starsky and Hutch, then I've got to kind of.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe just come on, pick your favorite three.
Pick and mix confectionery cocktail.
Yeah, there's a bit of crossover. I'm sure we won't pick the same ones, but just come on. pick your favourite 3, see what happens. I'm sure we
I'm
can kind of
I'm
come
just
up
going to
with stuff.
I'm going to only come up with ones that I can link into confectionery because I think it's just thanks to Swap Shop with his Malteser Falcon. I just can't let go of the idea. It's just two concepts: cop shows and sweeties. Two things
I
that I
would
love.
also like maybe just throwing it in there, top 5 1980s film.
So no, loads of people have done that before. I thought you were going to say top 5 best cop shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll do that.
He's gone on to a
we'll
different
do that as a
topic,
show.
hasn't he?
We'll do that as a shoe in then. Top 5 cop shows. We'll just
Definitely.
yeah.
With the
'cause I know
confectionery.
you like your cop shows, and to be fair, I do as well. So
No, I do like cop shows, but I only like Pacific cop shows. You know what I mean? Like the ones that I mentioned. I don't like all cop shows. I hate the British cop shows. The only British cop show I really liked, well, 2 is Professionals and Shoestring. I guess I loved Shoestring when I was young. I thought BBC did a good job on that show. I thought that show was quite cool. But you know,
what about Life on Mars? I know that's a little bit.
You know what? I've started watching that again. I can't remember it, so I started watching it again. I think I watched 1 episode, and
same here. And I've stopped watching
it. Yeah. Life on Mars was a good concept. Thing. So and then they did that 80s one, didn't they, with the woman? It's like
Keeley Halls, was it?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, we should definitely do the cop show because it's nobody ever really talks about them. That I've seen on.
We haven't.
It's just all geek stuff.
Well, it is part of geekdom, cop shows, especially things like Psych and The Mentalist, and you know, they're all part of geekdom. They're huge fans of CSI and NCIS, which is one of the longest running American shows ever. So that's still going. You know what I mean? So there
Never
is.
Seen any of them.
Well, you know,
I think I've probably dipped into a couple, and I thought it's just explainers all the time.
There are some, as I said, there's some really clever ones out there, and you know, Columbo is one of my favorite cop shows of all time. I love Columbo. I think Columbo is such an original cop show. Everything about Columbo is just brilliant, in my opinion. I mean, if you're talking about the 70s Columbus, there's not one episode of the 70s Columbus that I didn't like. I liked them all from the very first episode to the last episode.
Shatner was on that, wasn't it? The Shatner, he was on one.
Yeah, I didn't like the 80s when they brought him back in the 80s. Didn't like them. They were okay, but they weren't as good as the 70s. So well shot as well, and so well performed, and no violence whatsoever in it, apart from, you know,
no violence
in the beginning. But the idea that this guy looked like a tramp and he was head of the police, well, he was a lieutenant, and he was so clever. He was so clever that he knew exactly who'd murdered that person, and he had to find out or get the clues surrounding him. The format has never been copied. That format for Columbo has never been copied till this day, because it's so unique. So there you go.
Yeah, I think definitely do the cop show.
Confectionery cop shows.
Yeah, I think we should do that most definitely.
Now the Professionals, are they technically cops? It's CI5, isn't it? A fake government.
Well, they're not cops. They're
government agents.
Yeah, more or less. But I guess
we can let it in.
Ex shoulders.
Because it's got Inspector in it.
Wasn't Doyle a cop? He used to be a cop before he joined CI5. Then wasn't he?
Doyle was the cop, and Bodie was the armed services
guy.
Yeah.
So that'll make it an ex-cop show.
Yeah. Well. You know, there is one episode of The Professionals that will never ever be shown on TV.
Why?
Here we go.
It's a racist episode. Basically,
144.
Basically, Bodie tells a black guy to get to what is it? Nigger, get your hands off me, in one scene.
Oh, that's how a stream struck down your mum.
Never showed it, and he also says a line, "Call a spade a spade."
I think I heard in Minder there were a couple of racist lines that dated very badly, and they redubbed them when they See, I think they should leave them in because that is what they're going back to edit everything, isn't it? Now there's films from the 80s and the 90s going might be not quite right for today's super sensitive audience. It's like they are mistakes. You got to leave them in because that's a relic of its time. And if we find it offensive now, good. We should find it offensive, but you can't. My opinion is leave it in. Leave it offensive. Basically, it was what it was. It's wrong, but it's wrong to delete it because
no, everybody forgets that the season 1 and 2 of The Professionals was really violent, incredibly violent. If you watch the first 2 seasons uncut versions, they are really violent. And the Sweeney when it first started as well,
the Sweeney,
really violent, really violent. So, but the thing is with the Sweeney, right? It was brilliant because even when you watch it now, it's brilliant.
That's one of the only films or programs I can think of where the title is actually Cockney rhyming slang, isn't it? Because it's Sweden Todd, Flying Squad.
Yeah. Ian, do you remember? Speaking of Lewis, it was Lewis Collins, wasn't it? Yeah. Who Dares Wins? Do you remember that? The film?
I remember that film. It's out of its time. And it was too slow. It needed more action in it.
Massively disappointed with that one.
Yeah.
He Who Dares Wins, Rodney.
Yeah, but they remade it, didn't they? With Jamie Bell, played the Lewis Collins character.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they? Oh,
yeah. They remade it. They remade it, and it's awful as well.
Oh.
It's based on the siege, isn't it? The siege of the embassy at that time.
I remember watching that live because I was watching True Grit, and I was like,
the snooker. Yeah, it was a snooker that got stopped.
When that happened, on the other side.
When that happened, us as English people, didn't we feel proud that they kicked ass? They went in there and they kicked ass, and everybody survived, and you know what I mean. And everybody was like saying, "Yes, it's the best in the world." I remember it was all.
That's what put them on the map, isn't it?
Yeah,
the poor old SBS also is good. Special Boat Service don't get a look in because they're not as famous. They couldn't get the boats in there.
Yeah.
So shout out to the SBS. Anyone from the SBS watching? Which of course,
Lewis Collins' career never really did much after that, did it?
He was up for Bond, but Broccoli wasn't impressed with him apparently. So
not impressed with him. Bloody hell, Rodney!
But he died of cancer, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Oh. Coming full circle to our first depressing news of the show.
And doesn't Martin, what's his name?
Lewis?
Sure.
Martin Lewis Collins, sure.
He doesn't like talking about it, doesn't he? Apparently,
no. He does now, but when they did the first episode, basically, the first episode is it would never be shown again ever because of what happens in that first episode. But the first episode, Anthony Daniels was playing. Not Anthony Daniels. Anthony Edwards was playing Bodhi, and it didn't work.
Anthony Daniels is Bodhi. I'd like to see that. Ooh, you're under arrest.
Not Anthony Edwards was playing Bodhi, and something happened. Something happened, and he couldn't do it. And then they called what's his name, Collins in. Collins was done as a sitcom actor, and Martin Shaw
with what's her name, Diane
Keane.
Yeah,
Keane. And
Martin Shaw.
I can't remember. Cuckoo Waltz.
Yes. That was massive. That was.
And he wasn't happy. Martin Shaw was not happy that they changed him because he was friends with Anthony. And so they changed it all. And they didn't really talk much on set because he was pissed off that his friend got let go of the project. But there's a lot of history behind that. Do you remember the first episode? It had who's the one that's married to the comedian? What's her name? Oh God, she was in Superman 3. The Australian bird. She was in
Pamela
Stevenson.
Pamela
Stevenson.
Not the 9 News.
Did you see the first episode of Professionals?
Yes.
When he had to, this guy had kidnapped her. She was a nurse, and he put a hand grenade down her bra. Do you remember that episode? Anyone?
No.
Well, they'll never show that again because it's very sexy.
She was in Space 1999 as well.
No.
Hello, Gothic Therapy. Hello, sir. Yeah, she was in Space 1999 as well. Pamela Stevenson.
I'll always remember it as Olivia Newton-Bomb. With videos that give men erections.
She was gorgeous, wasn't she, in her time?
She was gorgeous and funny, a killer combo.
She was on Not the 9 O'Clock News as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah. She was, and she got married to
Billy Connolly.
Billy Connolly. Yeah, she was in Superman 3 as well.
Yes,
I remember that.
As the brainy bimbo.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Brainy bimbo.
You can't be a brainy. That's an oxymoron. You can't be a brainy bimbo.
Well, she was in the film.
Job, bimbo. Be stupid. So
she was stupid to Robert Vaughn's character.
Ross Webster.
She was acting. I mean,
but
within
in
the
a
context
moment
of the film.
in front of Superman, it was just one moment where she was brainy.
Yeah,
clever.
Yeah, it was. Superman 3 was rubbish, but hey, what could you do? It was going
not as bad as 4.
Oh God, 4. Just
I kind of enjoyed 3, to be fair, but I was probably too young to. Yeah, I was probably too young.
It's awful. 3 is awful. 2 is not as good as the first. The first one was the best one.
The thing I like about 3 is when Christopher Reeve, they give him the manufactured kryptonite.
Oh yeah,
and he goes off the rails.
Yeah, he does.
And even him going off the rails and with his dirty Superman suit and unshaved, he was a damn fine Superman, wasn't he?
Oh God, yeah, it was great. As I said, if you watch the 78 one, you look at it, obviously it's dated, but still, he's Superman. What can I say? There you go. Anyway,
Bimby Brainbow.
Shall do you want to do 2 hours, or shall we call it a draw now, guys?
It's up to Cockney. I don't mind
if
he's got
anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got anything else to talk about, Cockney.
Split the difference, 155. There you go.
If you're going to do 10, do 10. So it's up to you, mate.
All right, 10 then. Bollocks to you. 10 minutes and I'm saying nothing. Thanks for giving me the choice.
We've wasted a minute.
We were talking about cop shows. I mean, if we think, the British cop shows to me didn't work. They never worked. Professionals worked beautifully because
we
had action.
Professionals was Friday night, 9 p.m.
Yeah,
and we always talked about it on Monday morning at school.
Yeah.
It was, as I've said before, if I see on ITV4 now being repeated, I will pretty much just sit and watch it. And it's not many programs that I will just, it looks dated, but I look at it and I'm not bothered at all in the slightest, because I just think it's fantastic.
I mean, not only did it have action in it, but it also had great chemistry between the three of them. What's his name? Bodie was a hothead. Doyle was
cool head.
He was the cool head, but he was a vegetarian. Forgive him for that one.
With his he was into a keto.
He was, yeah. And what's his name?
He was a vegetarian. He wasn't a vegan. He was an omnivore.
Well, George Cowley was he was the man in charge, and he was very tough, and he was, it made a good combo. There were arguments between them all, and they were very focused and stuff. And as I said, the show really worked really well because the writing was good and the characters are well defined, and
great music as well.
And it had action, which the cop shows don't have anymore.
Actually, on the confectionery front, I just thought. It's not cop show, it's science fiction, but Flake 7.
Yeah.
Very nicely tied in
to Mars.
Comment. Look, Dempsey and Makepeace.
Yeah.
Nice connection there. I did like Dempsey and Makepeace.
How did I? And they liked each other and they got married, didn't they? And they still are married.
They did. Are they still married?
They're still married, yeah. Still happily married, those two. So there you go.
Michael Brandon was in Who, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played
like a general, American general.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he's lived here forever because of his wife.
It's a shame they never kind of did a follow up to Dempsey and Makepeace.
Got a bit mushy towards the ending.
Yeah, but maybe kind of like, I don't know, 10 years after, just do like a one-off or something.
Yeah, they still look good. But what's her name? Is it Barbara? The girl.
Glynis Barber.
Yeah, she still looks good. I saw her recently. She was on
I
TV.
saw her tweet today. She was she looks pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, she still looks good. She used to be in Blake Seven, didn't she? She played
and
Sue.
EastEnders. Sulin, was it Sulin?
Yeah, she played Suling. But I mean, they could bring it back. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of. If you talk about the British cop shows, there were some real crappy ones as well, wasn't there? I mean, Bergerac. I didn't like Bergerac at all. Anybody remember Bergerac?
Yeah,
I remember it existing. I don't think I ever watched it. It was on Guernsey or Jersey. I think confused the two today.
Yeah, it was on Jersey. So,
and yet he never wore a jersey, did he? So that was interesting.
No, he didn't. There's BBC made some crappy ones. That it was
Julia
a show.
Bravo.
So basically they had Shoestring, and that was up against a professional.
Because that was the budget.
Yeah, but
Shoestring was all right.
Shoestring was okay, but Shoestring wasn't really the professional. So BBC came up with a show called Target. Do you remember that show?
I'm going to go with no.
It was awful. It was meant to be like professionals, but it just didn't reach the mark.
The Chinese detective, racist.
Chinese detective was okay.
Oh yeah, David Yip was all right. Yeah, that was good.
David Yip. Juliet Bravo. Do you remember that one?
Juliet Bravo. Not actually her real name. That is the police alphanumeric NATO
code. Bill.
Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel India. Julia Kilo Lima Mike November Oscar Papa Quebec Romeo Sierra Tango Victor Whiskey Yankee Zulu.
Do you remember when the Bill came out on ITV on a Monday night as an hour special? Yes, that was great.
That ran for 8 years or some nonsense like that, didn't it? The Bill, it ran for
and then it went to the format, didn't it?
Yeah, it went from an hour to half an hour. I thought it was going to become
the hour shows. The original hour shows were fantastic. So I remember I was at college and we did the long shift. We basically did 12-hour days to get the work done, so we could come home and then. Yep. So we got home late I was from York, train home. Just in time for the Bill.
Remember that? Gentle Touch. Jill Gascoigne.
She was Leslie Ash.
Yeah, that was Cat's Eyes. That was Cat's Eyes.
Oh,
Gentle Touch was one of the very first female detectives on. So she was the very first. Jill Gascoigne played the leading role. Then it was Cat's Eyes. That was a spin-off of Gentle Touch.
Which was like Charlie's Angels, really.
More or less, British Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels. There was Charlie's Angels.
Here you go. Here you go. This program was excellent. Boom.
Michael Elphick.
Ben Elphick.
Michael Elphick.
Oh, that was Boom. Boone, wasn't it?
Boone. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Silver. That was great. That was.
Yeah, but it was badly shot.
Neil Morrissey as well.
It was okay. That show was okay. And do you remember what was that one? Bullman? ITV's Bullman.
Oh god. Oh, I loved Bullman.
Bullman, and then they had
fantastic.
Taggart. Remember that one?
Because it was all connected somehow. Because I think didn't one of the characters appear in the other show?
Yeah, he was the boss, and the guy played Taggart was the boss of Bullman.
Bullman, I thought was the better show. It didn't last long. Was it maybe 2 series? Bullman was fantastic.
Midnight Summer Murders, yeah, I remember that.
Or Midnight Summer Midnight Murders, whatever it was.
That went on for years, that did. Then there was
Sunday Night Special. I never watched
Spectre Morse. Remember Spectre Morse?
Yeah. Gothic Therapy is in the chat and he'll be thinking, what the hell are they talking about? Because he's from America, so...
I mean, there were a lot of British cop shows, but as far as I was concerned, most of them were kind of dull. I like Spectre Morse, but I just thought it was really dull, Well,
that was England back in those days. We didn't.
Yeah, it was.
Cracker. We didn't want them too exciting, because we wanted England nice and dull and crime free. Now they should be doing lots of exciting ones. Because
I'm glad you reminded me of Bullman because I think that was one of the better ones. Bullman.
He used to wear those gloves. He always used to wear gloves, didn't he?
I liked the guy who played Bullman.
He was in Star Wars.
He was in Star Wars as well. Yeah,
he was in Star Wars.
Was he? Who used to play Star Wars?
Yeah.
Was he Uncle Owen?
Sat around the table. Yeah.
He played the guy that said something about the rebellion before the other guy gets strangled by Darth Vader. Before he says, "Your lack of faith is disturbing." So it's the guy. He's the guy that said something before him.
The ultimate power in the universe. That one.
There
Yes.
you go. Equalizer. That goes without saying.
Put the gun down, or I will blow your head off.
Off.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, Equalizer was brilliant as far as I was concerned. I loved that show. That was 7 o'clock, wasn't it? Thursdays or something like that.
God,
No,
you're down on
Equalize
your
was
time.
9 p.m. ITV Thursday.
Never equaled.
And then I think it went to Mondays at one point.
And if you want to go back further, there was Roger Moore's The Saint, which I found really a lot of fun. Which is, I guess he's a private detective. He wasn't really a cop, was he? Let's face it. But
otherwise you have Lovejoy. He wasn't a cop, but he did.
He wasn't a cop. Yeah, he was. He was into antiques. I like the idea that he spoke to us and broke the fourth wall when he spoke to us. Thought that was quite cool.
Did he?
Lovejoy.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he used to speak to the audience.
Brilliant. I might have to check it out.
Yeah, I love 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Oh, bye everyone.
I think 2 hours is the cutoff. To be fair,
yeah, me too.
I think after 2 hours, after 2 hours, I think you're outstaying your welcome.
Toilet break.
Ian, I really appreciate you taking the time to pop on, my friend.
No worries.
You've just got going, haven't you? You've just got going, haven't you?
What does that mean?
You're pumped. I'm pumped. I'm pacing.
You could go on for another hour.
No, I like talking. It's my thing. I like talking about, geeky stuff and everything that we've mentioned. It's all been part. Even I don't mind disagreeing and stuff like that. It's all part of talking about geeky stuff. Yeah.
It gives it a bit of fire. If we all like the same things for the same reason, we'd have a boring show. Do you like The Expanse? Yeah, I do. So do I. Okay, see you next week, everyone.
I definitely think we should come back for the cop show
and Steel.
Make it a good 2 hours and just kind of.
Sapphire and Steel were cops. They were cops. So they were.
I've got the DVD right here. Right, I'm going to put that on my watch list as well.
That was good. Sapphire and Steel was good.
They were cops. Time and space. They were basically law enforcement for time and space.
And was it guest starring Led? Wasn't Led in one of the episodes?
Yes, he was. Right? The first season he was in. Yeah, Led.
Hail, Canadian Spider-Man. Hail.
For plastic. We are technically in the third hour. Let's quit while we're ahead.
Okay.
Ian, thanks for coming on, mate. We'll arrange that cop show. Yeah, we'll make it maybe later on in the week or something where we can, take a bit of time and relax and blah blah blah. Sure. Yeah. Cheers, Ian.
Canadian Spider-Man's here. Quick shout out to Canadian Spider-Man, everyone's favourite neighbourhood syrup slinger. Very happy to see you here, Canadian.
Cockney,
I'm just going to go ruined in a boot. What?
Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
I go to bed now. Is it okay if I go to bed now?
Very excited now.
Good night,
Spider-Man.
See you later,
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody in the chat, and he's gone.
He's a busy man.
He's gone. People in the chat, there's been a few who have actually stuck to the bitter end, so we do appreciate that.
Retention.
All I can say, my friends, is like, share, subscribe, all the usual bollocks. If you've stuck with it this long, you obviously know quality.
Or you can't reach the off button.
Yeah, or you've fallen asleep. As I said, guys, in the chat, we are nothing without you, so we appreciate your time. Cheers, Cockney. I'll play the outro and we will see you soon.
We out. Peace.
Bye. Bye.